South Korean official recently made headlines when, at a town hall, he suggested the country import women from economically disadvantaged countries to boost its birth rate. What underlies this suggestion is the presumption that South Korea's low birth rate is the fault of South Korean women rather than its unregulated capitalist system collapsing into corrupt oligarchy that leaves people feeling hopeless while suffering from a cost of living crisis. And this misplaced blame is par for the course when it comes to pro-natalist politics. In Italy, Giorgia Meloni renamed the Ministry for Equal Opportunity, and despite pro-natalist rhetoric aiding her in her rise to power, her government has done little to stop Italy's gender-based violence problem, and has failed to keep its promises regarding economic relief to young couples. In Hungary, Viktor Orban has identified individualism and feminism as the cause of birth rate decline, and encouraging traditional gender roles is a key part of the Hungarian government's pro-natalist policies. This rhetoric is a common feature of Orban's annual State of the Nation addresses. Vladimir Putin also blames individualism, which he identifies as Western, and feminism for Russia's declining birth rate. In the face of birth rate decline, the Russian government has gone so far as to offer cash rewards to schoolgirls for giving birth. And in much the same way pro-natalist Italy is neglecting to address gender-based violence, it's worth mentioning that protections against DV have been in decline in Russia under Putin's rule, especially since 2017, when Putin signed a new law decriminalizing certain forms of DV. In America, declining birth rates are framed as a cultural issue, with many pro-natalists choosing to blame left-wing ideology in public schools and universities rather than wealth inequality, inflation, stagnating wages, concerns about reproductive safety, and atomization. The Heritage Foundation, the group behind Project 2025, half of which has already been implemented despite Donald Trump distancing himself from it during his 2020 campaign, recently published a new document blaming declining birth rates on, quote, big government liberalism and second-wave feminism. And it's not just traditional conservatives who are fixated on this. There is a growing fixation on pro-natalism amongst Silicon Valley elites. Elon Musk, the poster child for these elites, has framed declining fertility as the biggest risk to civilization, consistently using Twitter to stir up panic around birth rates. If you know a thing or two about pronatalism, none of this is particularly surprising. But if you're new to pronatalism, you might be asking, what is this? And why is it so popular?